is in excess of 23% APR per annum.
Legal
money lender.
Okay, 23%.
In excess of that. Give you an example. One of the largest companies in the country, they reckon they have about 100,000 customers, believe it or not. And they're charging rates for 6 months of up to 187%. And that's legal now. There are a couple of other...
Hang on a second now. How can that be legal?
You see, the central bank rules are crackers, in my opinion, to put it very bluntly. Mainly because of the fact that if you set an upper limit that you're prepared to charge and you're authorised by the central bank and you adhere to their code of practice, they'll accept you as an authorised lender.
At 187%?
Yes, and that is part of the problem.
Well, if I go to wherever I go to, if I go down to Park House for a bowl of soup, and if they increase it by 187% the price of a bowl of soup, they're not going to stay long in business.
No, but the problem is here, these people are desperate that are dealing with these institutions.
But sorry, then I shouldn't use Park House then. But why is it allowed to happen?
Well, let's just clarify the legal and the illegal one, because there's quite a difference.
No, but let's stick with the 187% first off. That's morally wrong. It
is morally wrong, and the central bank operate a code of conduct for these guys, which they have to adhere to. For example, they have to provide you with records of the loan agreement at the outset. They have to show you how much it's going to cost. They also have to give you repayment books or some sort of a statement. But the problem is that under the current legislation, which was brought in 2009, these companies set an upper limit with the central bank. It's on their website. If you want to go in, you'll see there are about 40-odd legal money lenders in the country, and you can check who they are, which is a small number, by the way, and that's a problem in itself, in my opinion, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And then they can charge anything under that. Well, usually they charge the higher limit. So we're talking about amounts here, maybe 500 or €1,000. For 6 months, you pay 187% interest on that. And then people get into a spiral of borrowing again and again from them.
I can understand people being in a very difficult position, but is this not just at those type of interest rates? Is this not just a fool's paradise? And I'm not being disrespectful to anybody that has done this, but I mean, you get your €1,000, you're paying it back at 187%, so you have to. I mean, look at all the money that you have to find to pay it back.
But remember one thing, if you're in a situation where you're worried about the next couple of bills coming in, you've got children going back to school, you're desperate, you need it now. Yeah. You can't get it from any other source. And that in itself is one of the big problems with the structure at the moment, is that people cannot access credit. They're finding it difficult to get any money out of the banks. Not to mind if you're in a vulnerable position like these people are. Credit unions are finding that there are restrictions on their lending because of the regulators coming down on them. So you end up with a situation where they reckon there's about 300,000 or 400,000, nobody knows exactly, people possibly dealing with legal money lenders.
Never mind the illegal.
Even mind the illegal ones.
And I know I'm running a little bit tight on this one, but just in relation to it, I mean, is there anything that can be done, say, the likes of the credit union that are community-based, could something be done at a far less cheaper rate than 187% that could wash out some of these?
Well, I think that I have a strong view on what steps need to be taken here. And first of all, I think that somebody at political level needs to grasp this. These people who are dealing with legal and illegal money lenders are vulnerable. They are, a sector of society who don't seem to have much of a voice, unfortunately, and nobody seems to be talking for them. So I think there needs to be a structure put in place where this whole area needs to be looked at. The central bank needs to be involved. Some entities like the credit union, St. Vincent de Paul, need to be involved, where people can access credit, lower amounts of credit, which they can't at the moment, and some sort of a scheme needs to be put in place. They also need to look at the rate of interest and do something about the legal money lenders. Now, we're coming on then to the illegal ones. And I mean, that's very serious, and the number of illegal money lenders in the country is enormous. Nobody knows, because for obvious reasons, a lot of them have their roots in organised crime. And people feel threatened, have been threatened, and feel very vulnerable when they're dealing with these guys, and charge rates of up to, in some cases, 2 to 2.5%. And and so it's a very serious problem. And again, we find ourselves in a position in this country where, with the downturn, there are hundreds of thousands of people who never dealt with moneylenders or anybody like them, who find themselves in a position where they have to deal with them, and they need to be given a voice, and they're not being given a voice at the moment.
All right, we just are getting in the headphones. We just found one on the internet here that's charging 4,000%.
Well, you know, that is not a legal moneylender, I'll tell you straight off. Because even with the authorised ones, they can't charge rates like that.
It's morally wrong. Dave, we'll come back to this, and if you're affected by this indeed, do give us a call, 091 77 0077, or text us to 53995. I think it's somewhere